Tags are one of the most misunderstood parts of a CRM, and I see almost everybody get it wrong. And the thing is, if you get it wrong, it could actually cause you to send messages to the wrong people. Maybe you lose track of high value prospects. You could make it impossible to track what you actually care about. And ultimately, it makes your Go High Level less scalable and harder to keep organized. Hi guys, my name is Ethan and I've built over 350 Go High Levels. And so today I'm going to talk about what is a tag, when should you use it, and when should you definitely not use it to avoid huge mistakes in your CRM. All right, so what is a tag? A tag is basically a permanent sticker that stays forever unless it's removed. It cannot be applied twice. You can have as many tags as you want, and it is best for historical events. So these properties right here both show what it's good for and then what it's bad for. And so inside Go High Level, as an example, you might have a contact test 1, 2, 3. We go into the tags right here, and then we could add like a new lead tag. Now, the thing is, I cannot add that tag again. So even if I try to search for it, or if I add it through a workflow, it would not add that same tag again. It's permanent unless, again, it's removed, and it will just stay there. And so what is it good for? What is the correct use case? If you want to track something historically and you want it to just simply be like a marker there forever. If, let's say, somebody filled out a Facebook form, that is true. And that is always going to be true. They've always filled out that Facebook form. They downloaded a lead magnet. That's true. And it'll always be true. They've attended a webinar, they came out for an event, or there's one kind of historical action, such as like a sale or some kind of action through your marketing, right? And those are all great use cases. Now, this is what I see a lot of people use tags for, and it has to do with like categorizing something that can change. So again, we can use it for things that will not change, that are always true. But if you were to categorize someone by new lead, booked, customer, active, past customer, each of these, they cannot be two of them at the same time. So you cannot be both a new lead and also a customer, let's just say. You cannot be a past customer and also booked, right? You're either a new lead, let's say, or a past customer. Like, you can't be both. And so what happens is, in order for this to be accurate, you would need to, once they get to the past customer section, you would need to remember to remove the new lead tag. And the thing is that if you don't do this exactly correct, then the tags pile up and you get inaccurate data. Let's say you want to send a newsletter to all of your new leads, but one lead has both past customer and new lead on it because you forgot to remove new lead through a workflow. You would send it to a past customer, which might look really bad, right? Depending on the context of that message. If it was some kind of discount or something like that, you might be like, hey, well, I paid full price. I'm a past customer, right? And so, yeah, it just can cause issues. You have to remember to remove the tags each time. Let's just say, as an example, you wanted to add that category. You would then have to go back into all of these workflows and then tell them to remove the no-show workflow. So it makes it very fragile. Like, it's very easy to break. It's very inconsistent, and there's a lot of problems. And so if you forget to remove a tag, it's bad segmentation. I already went over, you can send the email to the wrong person, and adding new categories forces you to rebuild all the old workflows, which is a huge problem. And so there's a much better solution. Instead of doing a tag for classifying things that can change, you should use a single select field. So a single select field might look something like this, where you can have a lead status and they are either not interested or they are ghosted. And they can't be both of them, just as an example, just to illustrate this point. And so you could have new lead, booked, customer, inactive, past customer, no show. You could have anything you want. And the thing with this is, once you have a workflow change them to, let's say, not interested, that automatically overrides the previous one. So you don't have to remember to remove the, let's say, new lead tag. Instead, you would just simply override it, and now they are whatever they are. So they are a customer, right? Or they are inactive. And so this is always accurate. It's very easy to scale. If you want to add in new options, it's not a problem. You just add in the option and then you just add it to the automation. Very, very easy. And you do not break any old workflows. So yeah, very, very, important use case to consider. The second problem is that if you're using tags to add people to workflows, that can also be a problem because tags have that unique ability that they do not disappear, and you cannot re-enter them into the same tag again. So for example, I've got this new lead tag, and then I try to enter them into a new lead tag again, it will not work, right? So I hit new lead enter. It does nothing because they already have the new lead tag. And so if you use tags to trigger automations, returning leads will not fire automations, and that can cause a huge problem because people who should be getting nurtured or notifying your team, that can start to break. Your pipeline stats, if it's connected to your pipeline automations, could start to break. Your team could never see a lead. And so ultimately, you might have high value leads actually slipping through the cracks and never getting a hold of them, which is a huge, huge problem. And so what is the solution to that? Instead of adding a tag to add them to a new workflow, just simply use the action inside the workflow builder called add to workflow. And I'll show you an example. All right, so I'm pulling up my Facebook ads source tracking. There's a very specific way that you need to get source tracking to work. This process right here, I go into it in source tracking, but in order for source tracking to be correct, you need to have a proper source tracking workflow. But let's get into why tags versus add to nurture. So this is for whenever people fill out a Facebook form or they, let's say, book an appointment through the Facebook ads calendar. We're going to add the tag Facebook ads because they always had something to do with Facebook ads. So that is the correct use of a tag. And then if I want to add them into a workflow, I can add them into, let's say, the call one workflow, right? And literally, this will always allow new leads to come in and to basically be connected to that workflow. And so if I want to add them to a Google Sheet workflow, right? Google Sheet. This is just an example, but I can just add them to that Google Sheet workflow, and there you go. Now, the important thing to note is that sometimes you do actually want them to only go through a workflow once. And so, for example, if I wanted a very specific nurture to only get sent out once, where it had like, let's say after 90 days, like a discount code at the last step to try to get them over the line, and I don't want to send that, every single time, what you would do is you'd go into this workflow. So for example, the call one workflow, and you would go to settings and you would just simply turn off the option for allow reentry. This is much more flexible. Having this centralized so that you can turn it off for all entry points is much, much better than having tags be your only safety net against doing that, because that can break and it can cause a lot of issues. Again, with the main problem being not notifying leads that should be notified. Okay, so this is very clean, very predictable, and very good. So the main thing I want to kind of emphasize, the golden rule, is that tags are going to be used for any kind of permanent history. Custom fields are things that could change, right? So you would use a single select if it can only be one thing at a time, and you would use maybe a multi-select or a checkbox or something like that if there was the possibility of being multiple things at once. And then if you are trying to add people into a workflow, use the add to workflow system instead of tags. So why does this matter? Again, this prevents basically your whole system from collapsing. You get cleaner smart lists. So again, you don't have to manage all the tags. Inside the smart list, you actually can filter by a custom field as well. So if you go into the example, and then you would just say like lead status as an example, and then you say lead status is not interested, you can filter by all the leads who are not interested. In this case, I don't have anybody, but the idea is the same, right? It's very easy to do it. Many people just think that tag is the only way to filter on the smart list, but it definitely is not. It makes reporting more reliable. It makes you scalable builds so you can change things and you don't have to go back and rebuild everything. It creates improved accuracy for the lifecycle data and just fewer workflow failures overall. So I know tags might seem like a very nuanced conversation, but I feel like it's a very good viewpoint into the overall structure that I use whenever I build these GoHighLevels, because I need a build that is going to work, it's going to last, be scalable, and actually get the data that we care about. And so if you're interested in getting your GoHighLevel, your CRM built out for your business and generating some more revenue, I'd be happy to help. So I basically help people build their GoHighLevels using best practices. I help train the team on how to use the GoHighLevel so that they get the most out of it. And then I build dashboards and give you visibility into what is actually happening in your business. So it becomes very easy to make decisions and very clear to identify the exact bottleneck in your business so that you can double, triple the business over time. And small changes make a big difference. Improving your booked appointment rate from 20% to 25% is not a 5% increase. It's actually a 25% increase when you look at the percentage change. And so if you don't even know your booked appointment rate, then there's no way that you can actually improve it. And so I can build you a GoHighLevel, and I can actually do revenue optimization as well to make sure that you are growing the business in the way that makes the most sense. So feel free to reach out, go to optimizeoutreach.com and fill out the form. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.